things are constantly changing. There were a lot of mistakes made back in the day because we didn't have access to certain information. We didn't have certain things that we have now created to correct those mistakes. Jesus was not always around. So years and years and years ago, when they were going through certain things, yes, this Bible was not around, correct? It's like a business when it first starts out. You know how many things it goes through and how many changes it makes to upgrade its policies, its procedures, its tools, its resources, its processes. Like, these things change on a daily basis, because when it first starts out, you don't know as much, you don't have as much, but you grow and you learn and you build, and over time you do have access to new information and resources. So when someone new comes in, you don't start them from way back when you first started the business. You start them with, this is what we have now. They don't need to know what was going on back then and make those mistakes, or they can know about it, but you don't want them to make those same mistakes from back then. They don't need to follow those old ways. This is the New Testament. These are our new policies, procedures, resources. This is what you need right here. The only thing that you do need to know is, we've already made these mistakes right here, and we don't need you to go through those things again. So back then, they did not call on Jesus because Jesus had not yet been born. So they would call directly on the Lord, who would act for them and act on their behalf. And once Jesus was born, he interceded for us, so that if you call on Jesus, it is the same as calling on the Lord. And it's just like having a person in a position of power, and they are very powerful. So everybody comes to them for answers and for assistance. And then he becomes so overloaded with all the people that need him that he begins to delegate to other people of power. He gives them that power. He's like, hey, this is how you handle this. This is what you do. Here's how I do it. Do just like me. If somebody comes to you, you will be the answer for them, just as I am usually the answer for them. So he gives them that power to do the same thing, and he delegates to those people what they should be doing to give them that same power. And then the people begin to come to the new people in position of power, who has just as much power as the one who is above everybody, who has delegated those powers to them. So it's like having a CEO who runs the business. He's so busy, he can't handle everyone's questions all at once. So he has supervisors, and the supervisors know just as much. So he delegates some of that responsibility to them and says, hey, you handle these things for me, because I have a lot to take care of. And when they come to you, it'll get done just as if they were coming to me. It's just like that. It's someone to intercede who holds the same power. And if they don't know or have the answers and don't have that power, then they can take it to the Lord. But for the most part, they can handle everything. When there's agents and someone says, hey, can I speak to your supervisor? And the supervisors have a lot on their plate. They de-escalate and assist them in whatever way that they best can. And if it's anything that they really just cannot handle or de-escalate, then they take it to the supervisor, and the supervisor handles it for them. And if somebody wants to go above the supervisor does the same thing. They de-escalate the issue, handle it in the best way possible. And if it is something that they just truly cannot handle, then they take it to the next step ahead and above them. But it's not always necessary to go all the way to the top of the chain, to the highest ranking, when it's something that you could handle, something that you could de-escalate. So it's just like that. Jesus intercedes for us. He is the Lord our God. God has given him the power to handle these things. He reigns over us, and that is all that we need. He is our Lord. The Bible is something that was made and created by man. Yes. But the downloads, the information came from God. And yes, man wrote it. But this information came from God. These are experiences with God. Everyone's different experience with God. It's like a parent telling you, I've already been here. I've already done this. Let me show you the way so that you don't have to make the same mistakes as me. And some people just don't listen and want to try it again. And then they end up saying, you were right. I should have listened. That is what the book is for, to tell you, I've had these experiences. I have done these things. Let me help you. Let me show you the way so that you don't make these same mistakes. So yes, a human being wrote it and not God himself, but this information came from God. So that is what this is. It is basic instructions of life.